Welcome back. NR recaps. The film opens with a sequence of extraordinarily flirty messages among humans with the screen names ThongGirl14 and Lensman319. They had been chatting for 3 weeks, and the two those who met online plans to fulfill at a nearby coffee save that day at 11 a.m. On the espresso shop, we meet ThongGirl14, whose real call is Hayley, sits down with a slice of chocolate cake, followed by using Lensman319a.ok.a. Jeff. But to our wonder, Jeff is in reality a complete grown-up. He casually wipes the chocolate cake off her lips with his thumb and then licks it off to flavor it. Being young and naive, the 14-year antique Hayley is charmed through him, and doesn't discover it odd how antique he's. As they sit down and retain their conversation, we will see a poster at the wall shows a lacking woman named Donna Maurer. Jeff is clean and captivating, and disturbingly gasses her up by pronouncing she seems and acts older than she is. He then factors out the honestly thick ebook she's wearing inside her bag, and she or he straight away replies that it's a faculty textbook. In a while, Jeff buys Hayley a new tea blouse, and we examine that he's a photographer, so he says that Hayley have to version it for him. He also promises that he's going to wait 4 years earlier than he can touch her. The two maintain exchanging flirty banter besides, and when Hayley goes inside the restroom to trade, she flashes him for a fast second to tease him. Jeff is visibly agitated by using this and says that she could pressure him loopy if she did it once more. Still failing to peer the red flags, Hayley pleads for him to take her over to his region, which he doesn't say no to. They head on over to his location, wherein Jeff is a photographer famous that he has his personal picture studio set up at Domestic. Whilst they arrive, Jeff makes them drinks, however Hayley refuses by way of saying she turned into taut to in no way take a drink she has not blended herself. At the same time as fixing him an alcoholic beverage within the kitchen, she notices that each one of Jeff's photos at the partition seem to be of underage half-clothed women. Hayley then sneakily asks him if he slept with any of his fashions, and he says no, claiming that he respects felony obstacles because maximum of his fashions are underage. However, he did sleep with one lower back while he was lots more youthful. Jeff then takes her to the bedroom to expose her the photo, however he appears uncomfortable while Hayley takes the photo off the wall, and sees the woman's name, Janelle. Seeing that he looks gloomy, she realizes that he hasn't moved on from her. As they drink a little more, Hayley attempts to cheer him through suggesting that they ought to do a little photo shoot. He then gets out his camera, while Hayley jumps at the couch and begins to pose. It is at this second that he starts a evolve to feel dizzy all the unexpected, however nonetheless attempts to take pics of her. Until at some point, he finally staggers, pronouncing he would not feel right before losing cognizance. When he wakes up, he's now tied up to a chair, with Hayley revealing that she drugged him. Wondering that Hayley tied him for fun, he asks why he is tied up, and with a critical tone Hayley tells him that playtime is over. She sternly asks him why a regular guy would have half a bare pics of underneath-aged women throughout his partitions. Understanding that she's onto something, he tries screaming for help, but she sprays bleach into his mouth to get him to forestall. Here we research that Hayley carefully planned this day to show up, and already made certain that all of his buddies aren't domestic at the moment. She begins to nation her case. Apparently, she's been investigating Jeff for pretty a while, via making several money owed throughout diverse online chat rooms. In different phrases, Hayley have been talking to him beneath many screen names online with distinct ages, and he was best interested in folks who have been close to her age. On pinnacle of that, she unearths it abnormal how a person as vintage as him could recognize all of the difficult to understand bands that young adults are into. She admits that after a while, she noticed that Jeff changed into simply copying and pasting feedback and descriptions about bands from Google, just so he ought to keep speak me with a younger female. But in view that he maintains seeking to deny the allegations, she receives impatient and calls him a pedophile, which once more, he firmly denies. He claims that he's been lonely, which makes him stupid, but he continues that he is not into youngsters. She then takes him to the bedroom, and makes him watch as she is going via his matters. Hayley vows that she's going to find a few incriminating proof of his pedophilia. They grow to be having a heated argument, with Jeff insisting that he's not violent and has in no way harmed all people. Not lengthy after, she finds a sequence of letters he continues, and spends quite a while going via them. They're letters from Jeff's ex-curb former version, Janelle, who ended the relationship by saying that Jeff's no longer the individual she thought he changed into. Hayley then moves directly to Jeff's laptop, where the download manager states that he's downloaded several snapshots, but she can't appear to find any of these pics in his laptop, which is suspicious. On pinnacle of that, she claims that she already searched through his complete residence, however didn't locate any porn in sight, which she reveals very peculiar for a guy who lives on my own. Accordingly, she theorizes that anything porn Jeff has have to be so juicy, that he has to cover them in a secret cupboard someplace. With that, she proceeds to ransack his domestic, at the same time as he sweats nervously and struggles to break unfastened. At some stage in this seek, she reveals a gun underneath the bed, but ignores it for now. She is going on along with her search, until sooner or later, she ultimately uncovers a hidden secure in a room. However, while she attempts to call for the safe combo, Jeff turns the desk via pointing out that she probably fixates on him because she has daddy troubles. He guarantees that they can talk approximately her issues, and he will even get her a taxi home if she just lets him pass. She asks him if he may not be indignant at her, to which he says he's going to forgive her. This appears to have an effect on Hayley, who shyly walks as much as him. But then, she begins to cry and chortle, asking him if he sincerely believed the trick could work on her. Hayley remains decided to open the safe, so she begins to give you possible combos tied with Janelle. Miraculously, the safe eventually opens when she types in the date she discovered on the back of Janelle's image, which changed into the primary photo shoot he had with her. The secure incorporates a CD and a sequence of beside-the-point pics of underage girls, besides for one normal image of a lady named Donna Maurer, who Hayley recognizes because the city's lacking female. Whilst Hayley goes as much as him to query approximately the female inside the photograph, Jeff abruptly kicks her until she collapses. He rolls the chair into his room, and manages to get his gun that Hayley omitted on his mattress. But while he is going out, she's nowhere to be determined. After which this happens. Hayley comes up from behind him, and starts choking him with a saran wrap even as he struggles, until he passes out. The following time he wakes up, he finds himself tied to a table along with his pants off, and an ice pack over his private parts. On the grounds that he's wakeful, Hayley proceeds to accuse him of being accountable for Donna Maurer's disappearance. Jeff denies it and claims he most effective met up together with her for coffee and in no way noticed her again for the reason that. Dubious, Hayley teases that he must be hiding something, but Jeff tells her he is not the monster she thinks he is. And that is wherein the story receives darkish. She takes a shaver and threatens to castrate him proper now, which of course terrifies him. Due to the fact that he's no longer numb sufficient, but they chat for some time. Jeff tells Hayley that after she cuts him, she'll in no way forget it and the things she'll do will one day haunt her. However, alas for him, his warning doesn't paintings on Hayley. Afterwards, she gets equipped to castrate him, and while he attempts to scream for assist, she sprays cleaner spray to his mouth. As soon as she starts shaving his non-public parts, he begs to be released and even gives her cash, however that doesn't deter her. When she notices that he's still now not numb sufficient, she puts the ice percent again on him, and climbs up to the roof to get some air, which sparks a neighbor's attention. In the meantime, Jeff struggles with all his may to lose himself, and attempts to attain for his smartphone, but sadly, Hayley returns earlier than he gets to. Even as she starts evolved prepping for the procedure, he starts telling her a tale about how whilst he become a teenager, his very young cousin might come out of the lavatory after a bath and begin teasing him. And then sooner or later, it have become a component until sooner or later his aunt caught them and dragged him away, pulled his pants down, and sat him over the burner while threatening him to in no way touch her daughter once more. Hayley, however, isn't swayed by using the story, so he calls her mentally sick. Feeling hopeless, Jeff tells Hayley to name the law enforcement officials, pronouncing he'll turn himself in. The man is so scared that he begins screaming and thrashing about, till he receives too worn out and is going silent. It is now showtime. Hayley pulls out the clinical e-book from her backpack, and makes use of it to manual her as she performs the surgical procedure. At this point, Jeff has resigned to his destiny at the same time as she chops his balls off, one after another. His genitals are numbed by way of the ice, so he doesn't experience the technique. As soon as it's over, she casually gives him pointers on how to manipulate the pain he's going to suffer for the following few days. Jeff is crushed to look that his best balls are destroyed inside the coffee grinder. And then for a few cause, she starts being first-rate to him by seeking to feed him a few water, claiming that she's doing this because his lifestyles isn't going to be the equal any further. This of direction infuriates him, so he swears that he'll find her to get his revenge, but the girl doesn't take it critically and leaves his side for a shower. Now that she's long gone, he struggles some extra, until he effectively frees himself from the ties. While he reluctantly tests the website of the operation, he realizes he's truly unhurt, and Hayley has elaborately faked his castration. He then places his pants on and thinks about dialing 911, but modifications his thoughts and alternatively takes a surgical knife and reveals her. Within the restroom, he finds the bathe empty, proper when Hayley attacks him from at the back of. As they war, she tases him till he passes out over again. She then begins to easy the apartment of her fingerprints, and notices Jeff crawling down the hall, so she tases him another time. Hayley maintains to installation the crime scene by leaving a suicide be aware on his laptop. She additionally pretends to be a police detective even as calling his ex-female friend Janelle, and asking her to come to his house due to the fact there's been an incident there. Whilst Jeff regains focus, he unearths that Hayley has bound his wrists, and hoisted him to face on a chair in his kitchen with a noose around his neck. They are then interrupted whilst the doorbell rings, forcing her to tape his mouth shut earlier than going to reply it. It's a neighbor from 3 doorways down, who's here to sell some cookies. After the neighbor leaves, Hayley makes Jeff a suggestion: if he commits suicide, she guarantees to erase the proof of his crimes, no person will realize it including Janelle. Once more, Jeff denies killing Donna Maurer. But as Hayley steps towards him, he seizes the instant to attack, and manages to get his footing on a desk. This allows him to take off the noose, and palms himself with a knife, even as the scared Hayley runs and hides for her existence. He goes round his backyard to search for her, no longer understanding that she has circled return to the residence to get the noose. Meanwhile, Jeff's ex-female friend Janelle is on her manner over to his residence. Lower back to Jeff, he discovers a clue on the floor, and ultimately finds Hayley at the rooftop. Hayley now has the gun with her, and orders him to put off the knife and position the noose again round his neck. Up next, she tells Jeff that she referred to as Janelle earlier and that she's on his manor. Hayley then offers him an ultimatum: both he hangs himself right now, or she'll cast off her garments and run into Janelle's palms, claiming that he molested her. As if on cue, Janelle in the end arrives, and begins to look for him. It smiles at this factor that the desperate Jeff eventually confesses something: he didn't kill Donna Maurer, but he watched his pal do it in front of him. Jeff additionally guarantees Hayley that if she spares his lifestyles, he will tell her the other man's call and they'll hunt him down collectively. However then, Hayley famous that she already knew his call, Aaron, and that Aaron said Jeff did it before he killed himself. Properly, now we analyze that Hayley has truly murdered stated friend, before she meets Jeff. As a end result, Jeff has now run out of options and is determined to get this over and achieved with, so he agrees to put the noose round his neck. Hayley once again assures him that she will smash the proof so no person will know about the Little Women, and Jeff seems lower back at Hayley one last time, before he finally plunges to his loss of life. After he falls, Hayley exhibits that she definitely has no aim of getting rid of the proof of Jeff's involvement in Donna's disappearance, which includes his beyond crimes. The film ends as Hayley takes her assets together with her, and leaves the crime scene without all people noticing, even as police sirens may be heard within the historical past. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment.